Up and running.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast. I am your host, Claudia Castro. Got my co-host, Tim Park.
Hey, fam. What's going on?
Yeah. As always, like, subscribe, follow us on all the media outlets. We have a very exciting guest today. We've been on a roll with guests, which is phenomenal. And what's really cool is just guests with different areas of expertise. So, we've had crypto, multifamily, wholesaling, lending, all kinds of things. And today, it's kind of another kind of important aspect as well, which is like payments and merchant services. And who we have on today is the proprietor of the payments I can't even speak. Canassier operates a merchant services consulting firm that specializes in catering to small businesses owned by minorities and women in underserved communities, which I love. This firm's focus areas encompass merchant accounts, credit card processing equipment, and financial education. I'm already loving it so far. These sort of things I think is really, really huge, especially when it comes to the Black and Brown community. So I'm really excited to bring on our guest today, Terrina Taylor. Welcome to the Get the Bag podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Did I say that right? I know, kind of just hopped on. Is it Terrina?
It's Terrina. I'm the payment connoisseur.
Connoisseur. Yeah, see, it's a Monday for me. My apologies. But the payments connoisseur. I'm not that, I try. Reading is not, no, I'm just kidding.
It's a hard word to say and a hard word to spell. I had to get it together, but when I made the name up, it was difficult to remember the N and the SS.
Right, but now I'm not going to forget. It's stuck in my head now, so we good. But welcome to the podcast. I'm super excited to have you on to just kind of share your journey to the point where you're at now, and what kind of inspired you to start this. Like, what specific focus? Maybe you being a woman of color. Like, what exactly inspired you to kind of start this journey?
Oh, well, then back in 2021, it was pretty much the middle of the pandemic. My mom and I own a salon. My mom has a salon. She's owned it since I was 4. So it's been in business for quite some time. And around that time, I wanted to start, doing a contactless payments. And of course, I signed up like everybody else, Square, because that's the popular one, And then I was noticing, like, when somebody would swipe their card, it would be different from if they had their card already stored in my system. The fees were different. So I was like, why is that? So actually, when you think about it, it makes sense. But it's more risk involved if somebody has their payment stored in your system, because at any time, if you want to charge that card, you have the opportunity to do so because you have their information. So it's more risk involved. But I just started to look into payments, and I found a company that were actually not hiring, let me say. They were looking for independent reps. So they was teaching, and I wanted to learn. So I got in business with them. The company's called Deposit, and that's my ISO. And I just was, flabbergasted that the information that I was learning that a lot of people just say no. Like, when you sign up with Square or PayPal or Stripe, you're not actually getting a merchant account. You are a sub merchant underneath of their master merchant account. So they're payment aggregators. So they get to charge you a higher fee because they are payment aggregators, and a lot of people don't know. So I was like, that's something that my community need to know about.
Mm-hmm. That's dope.
That's something I didn't know.
Yeah,
I learned it in 2021. So
now, so they're getting paid almost like double, or how's that break down? Like, is it?
It depends it depends on what are they selling. Like, more online merchants are getting charged higher fees because of the risk involved. So what we do is we actually do real merchant accounts with an actual merchant bank. So when you sign up with us, you actually do have to go through an underwriting process. It's not just you sign up and you get a merchant account the next day. We want to know what you're selling. We want to know if you haven't had any chargebacks in the past. We want to know kind of like a little bit more about your history so we can set you up the right way and make sure, like, I don't know if y'all ever seen it, but if you see somebody using PayPal, they'll actually have situations like if they have an influx in sales, they'll freeze their money and shut down their account for a minute to see what's going on. That's why we kind of, we mitigate that risk by knowing upfront all the situations that could happen or could occur, so you don't have that problem.
Okay. That's pretty dope. So like the payment cost connoisseur, I can't even say it now. Like, got me tripped up. Connoisseur got me tripped up. So that's your unique small business, right? Is that you kind of help these small businesses or unrepresented businesses that are need payment solutions, and you help them, you educate them and provide this type of service. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's dope.
That's
when did you start? Actually, when did you start the company, and when did you transfer over from working for someone and learning that business to actually starting your business?
I started learning in 2021. It was the end of 2021, and I actually got signed on as my own business around March of 2022.
Okay.
And then I also
still fairly new in the business.
Yeah, very new. Very new. Yeah.
So you mentioned deposit. So talk to us a little bit. So you worked with them, you kind of learned the ropes a little bit, but for those who don't know, how does it actually work? Because when I looked it up, kind of their main thing is like, hey, we put a percentage back in your pocket, which, you mentioned companies like Stripe, PayPal, works a little bit different. So, if I'm a, entrepreneur or whatever the case may be, and I was curious about deposit, like how does that kind of work with the services you provide?
Well, they are my ISO. They are independent sales organization. So I connect you with their services. So they already have the connections to the payment gateway. So if you say you're online and you're using Stripe, you just need a payment gateway. You don't need no extra equipment. They already have the connection with authorized.net and NMI, which are two of the most popular payment gateways. So, and they usually integrate with a lot of different softwares. So that's where a lot of people in the online space need. If you do like retail, they have a partnership with Retail Cloud. So if you do need that particular service in that particular industry, they have a partnership with them already. So they already have the partnerships in place, and I just got to take advantage of those partnerships that they already have. So I'm the connector to those. I'm like a broker, if you say. But what I do extra with me is I do financial education, not only just with the payment processing, but in my community. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know if y'all heard about Baltimore, but I know usually it's not great things about Baltimore, Maryland. But it is a lack of financial education and financial literacy in my community. So what I do is teach financial education and financial literacy in my community. I had an opportunity this summer. They have a program locally called Youth Works, where they have teenagers in between 12. No, it's not 12. I think it's 14 to 21, where they hire youth for the summer, give them jobs, and give them an opportunity to learn from business owners. So I had an opportunity to host this past summer, and I got to teach 3 young men a little bit about financial literacy, and I kind of kicked it off.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
That's awesome. Now, like, I know on the financial literacy part, I think a lot of cities, and then people of color also are lacking of that, right? So just because of the generational situation that we've gone through as minorities, we weren't in a position to kind of learn that from our parents, because they didn't have that opportunities as well too. So I think what you're providing is a great service too. And what are you finding when you're educating these families or individuals about, financial literacy, what is the number one thing that you're coming across as the lack of in the community?
Well, number one, I'm right now. I'm starting off small with the teens, like in the teens area, because to me that's where we need to bridge that gap. Like, most of us, we grew up and then we got a credit card, made some mistakes, then had to fix it, had to clean it up. So I think,
yeah.
I mean, most of us did. That's what we do. But to me, if we teach them while they're younger, then they won't have to make those mistakes, and then they're better off financially when they get our age. So, but to me, a lot of people just don't know about budgeting overall. Budgeting is a topic that can be covered very widely. But credit cards is a big thing that most people just don't have the knowledge of. When you first get started, it just, people just make really crazy mistakes with credit cards. They do overdrafts on their cards, and a lot of people get in so much debt they have to file bankruptcy. It just, to me, that's the start. People don't know about credit scores.
Right.
That's just something that I come across.
The basics.
Yeah, the basics. Yeah.
Right. I've seen a huge influx over the last year or two, especially since COVID, where there's been a lot of fake gurus, I'll just say, that have fed off of like maybe people who are curious, they're done like dealing with credit card debt, and they want to find ways to fix their credit score, and they end up falling in a scam, right? What are some maybe, have you encountered a lot of those people that you've come across? I mean, I know you mentioned you've worked mostly with the youth, but what are some things that, is that something you come across a lot when you kind of mention like what you do?
Not so much yet. Not in this stage where I am. I do have a friend that's not really. She's not financially educated. To me, she's still making the same mistakes, and that's another thing that I do see within our community, is that some people just can't get their footing. They'll learn something, but they're not applying it. So they'll continue. Like, she did get with one of those companies to fix your credit. And then she's paying them something for them to pay a percentage on her. And I was confused about the whole process. And I was like, well, why can't you just do that yourself? But they kind of consolidating all of her debt into one, and then just kind of pinching and paying what they can. I guess they negotiate maybe a lower rate or something like that, and then they pay. But I just was like, well, I mean, if you discipline, you can do that yourself. You don't need to pay them to pay what you need to pay. You just do it yourself. But she's still not doing that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more about self-discipline, and really, like, that's why I say, like, learning younger, to me, it puts a better foundation in, learning and doing and applying.
Yeah. Now I know on the payment process, I've had several businesses and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of people, especially business owners, go with something that's easy to do and then they might pay a higher price, but eventually down the road they'll move into their kind of reduced price, because then they're mindful of each expense that they're doing in the bottom line of their revenue, right? So that's when the payment processing fees start to come up, especially if they're at a larger price point in regards to a transaction. So how do you kind of bridge that gap to say, okay, you need it now rather than later? Or how do you kind of approach the small business owner in that regard?
I just ask them what they're using, if they like it or they don't like it, and then see if I could possibly save them some money. That's pretty much what it's all about. If I can, that's great. If I can't, then you can, stay with what you're doing. If it's working for you, that's great. A lot of people don't want to switch. They like what they have, and it is what it is. And then, keep me in mind for later on if you come into a situation that you do need me.
Right. And I've been part of organizations or jobs where it's also depend on maybe the industry you're in. Like I'm in tech, but I've been with a company where they've basically streamlined, create an API using Stripe. So Stripe charges specific processing fee or percentages, and then we would just upcharge our customers higher so that we at least made profit. So I think maybe, you know, for maybe larger enterprises, maybe that would make sense. Whereas, you know, if you're just starting out, you're trying to like fix your credit or, you know, get right so that you can invest or whatever the case may be, I think it obviously would make more sense kind of consulting with you, right, Terrina, and like what options you have. Because when you're starting out, you even like because we talk about like a business, people don't treat, when they start a business, they don't treat it like a business, they treat it like a hustle. So we don't even consider these sort of things. We're just like, oh, Stripe, that's what they're using, but we don't even know like how to set it up. So what is that kind of what you see with a lot of people that you consult with that are small business owners is they don't even know like where to start in sort of setting up that infrastructure?
Yes, definitely. Like you said, when we are starting out, we usually do what's most convenient, what's most popular because somebody else recommended it, and that's, you know, what we go with. But I think to me, as you scale, like you said, Tim, as you scale and you start to look more into your financials and your profit and loss, and you do see where you can kind of, you know, save some money in those spaces, to me, it is a better thing to switch because I know people on my team have saved business owners up to like $5,000 a month. It depends on how much they process in their credit card fees, but if you process in a large amount, you can save a substantial amount of money by getting a real merchant account.
And
is there any way where you're go ahead, Tim.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say got the lag going. I know with AI too, like coming into play, is that something that you've also kind of considered with your services as well, and like how you're setting up the consulting, or that's not really something you've explored, or maybe there's been some research you've done in terms of kind of using AI as a way to kind of set you up in your consulting business?
No, I mean, I play around with Chat GPT a lot. I do like it. It helps me, you know, with marketing and social media. But as far as when I do my consultations, I do those one-on-one with it's me and the person or me and a member of my team. So we can make sure we answering all your questions and getting you the best, you know, the best options out there for you individually for your business. Because everything is not one size fit all.
Right.
Different things.
Yeah. My question was going to be around like e-commerce as well too. So like you have Shopify, which is the most popular, I think, e-commerce website that can be built easily, and then also take payments, which you can attach your Shopify to your payment gateway, but also they offer their own payment solution as well too, through Shopify, like a Square or something like that, but it's through them, so they can actually get the fees through them instead of going through Shopify or going through Square. Is that correct?
Yeah, but Shopify does this though. Shopify is a tricky little thing. Shopify, they will allow you to do your own API and connect your own payment gateway, but they will charge you an extra 1% fee, 0.1% fee for changing from them because they want you to use them.
Right.
So they will do that, yeah.
But they hold your money too. Like if you, I've come across a couple of businesses that like their payment of the actual is not funded. You know, if something isn't, like if they haven't paid their account or something like that, then they hold funds to actually transfer. So like there's some plus and minuses.
You taught me something. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's been an issue on a person that I had talked to, and so that's why they switched, even though they may, you know, pay a extra fee. It's just that they can control their money a little bit better.
Yeah, right. Well, I know with a lot of the software companies, they do use Stripe, or like you said, if they have an e-commerce platform, they're on Shopify. And to me, it just comes down to really having that peace of mind, because when you get your merchant account, you own your merchant account. It's your own merchant ID number. You know where your money is. You know what I'm saying? So it's peace of mind. It's not only the savings, but it's also the peace of mind, and then also the customer support, because I know a lot of people will try to get in contact with a lot of those other customer supports, and they'll be on hold, or they'll go back and forth with emails, and then they're getting shut down in the process, or funds are being held. I heard somebody funds got held for 6 months before. And
wow.
I mean, who wants to do it?
Right.
When I get my money.
Exactly. You ain't in control of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody want to get their bag.
Right,
Exactly.
Get the bag.
No pun. No, there is a pun.
It is a pun. Throw it in there.
I love it. Well, I know we're approaching the end. Actually, I have Camille here asking, how do you use ChatGPT for marketing? I think because that's like everybody's using it, right? But like, always curious about how people are actually, like what prompts or that kind of thing in terms of your marketing that has worked.
I have a couple good prompts. Let me look at one really, really quickly that I can read to you. I can share really, really quickly, because I wrote them down. It's the best one. Okay, this is the one right here. It says, acting as a business consultant, list 5 specific projects that we should undertake to improve the business within the next quarter based on the following information. The main issues we are facing right now are, and then you put the issues in. Then you put our biggest strengths are, and then list your strengths, and our weaknesses are, then you list your weaknesses. And then I see the following opportunities for the business, and then you list the opportunities. And these are the current threats we face, and then you list the threats. And it'll come out pretty much with like a whole like kind of marketing plan that you can go step by step with, that you can.
No.
Oh, did we lose her?
Different ideas.
Oh, there we go. I think we lost you there for a minute.
Oh.
I think you're good now.
You're good now, but I think, yeah, we can hear you now. But I think what after you mentioned like marketing plan, I think it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was just saying. Did you hear the prompt though?
Yes.
Yes, we heard the prompt.
Yeah. So it just pretty much lays out a whole kind of marketing plan for you to go towards to improve your business within the next quarter.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, ChatGPT, once you learn how, like, what prompts to give it, like, I'm in the process of like writing out things for an outline, thinking of like a course or something we've talked about. And I'm like, I don't have time to think about how I'm going to outline it or what information. So, I mean, any industry can really take advantage of that. So if you guys catch the replay, catch that prompt and give it a shot and let us know how that went. But Terrina, with the last question for you, what's kind of next for Payments Connoisseur? Like what's sort of the goal for the next year?
I'm looking for partnerships. I'm looking for partnerships with chambers of commerce, nonprofits, like business centers. Like I do a lot of events. So I'm trying to build these partnerships with people who are already serving small business owners, especially, minority communities and women-owned small businesses, because I want to be able to educate them while they're starting. Like you said, if they don't meet me now, I still want them to know what I do, what I have, and how it's a benefit to them. And in the long run, how they can save money and have, peace of mind with what we offer.
I love it. Yeah, I think there's definitely, at least I can think of off the top of my head, maybe offline, I can send you some connects that serve those specific communities. But yeah, we may have to catch a replay. I think I tell this to every guest anytime. It's like, hey, what's your goal? And then it's like, hey, let's check in the year to see how things are going on your end. But yeah, Terrina, thank you so much. Thank you for teaching us how to use or how to say connoisseur.
Can I tell y'all about one more tip that I have? Y'all know about the website? There's an AI for that.
There's an AI for that?
That's the name of a website. There's an AI.com. Yeah, y'all should check that out. It's great.
Okay.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's like where you type in whatever you need and it links you with an AI.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've caught it, but I may need to look back into that.
Yeah, it has so many different tools you can use that already have. I mean, because so many people came out with so many different AI tools now since ChatGPT. So it's like it's just
100%.
it's so many that you just
sure.
kind of could get lost in the sauce for real.
Yeah, that's real talk for sure. But no, that's been real, Terrina. Thank you so much, guys. If you're interested in gaining insights into what Terrina does, you can catch her on IG at Terrina Taylor. At Terrina Taylor. I'll make sure to actually add her information in the show notes if I haven't already. But yeah, give her a shout. And Terrina, until next time, we'll definitely tap in to see how things are going.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining in.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll catch you guys next week.